The little girl sat on the hospital bed with her feet dangling above the floor, swinging slightly as if she were afraid to let them rest. She was 5 years old, small for her age, with tangled brown hair and eyes that looked far older than they should have. Her name was Lily, and she had been brought to the emergency room late in the afternoon after saying something her father could not ignore. "My belly is moving." At first, he had laughed nervously, assuming it was a child's imagination. Lily had always been sensitive, always described feelings in strange ways. But then she had grabbed his hand, pressed it against her stomach, and whispered, almost pleading, "Feel it, Daddy. It doesn't listen to me." He hadn't felt anything at that moment. Still, the fear in her eyes was real. Not dramatic, not playful, real fear. That was why they were here now, under the cold fluorescent lights of Memorial Hospital. Lily shifted uncomfortably and pressed her palms flat against her stomach, as if trying to hold something down. "It's quiet now," she murmured. "But it won't stay that way." Her father forced a smile, though his jaw was tight. "You're okay, sweetheart. The doctors will check you, and then we'll go home." He didn't fully believe his own words. The emergency room was busy, but Lily's calm, eerie seriousness caught attention quickly. A nurse took her vitals, frowning slightly at the elevated heart rate. "Does it hurt?" the nurse asked gently. Lily shook her head. "No, it just moves, like it's stretching." The nurse paused, then wrote something down and left the room sooner than expected. Minutes later, the door opened again. This time, a woman in a white coat stepped inside. She moved with quiet confidence, but her eyes softened as soon as they landed on Lily. "Hi there," she said, kneeling to Lily's level. "I'm Drive, Hayes. Can you tell me what's been bothering you?" Lily looked at her father, then back at the doctor. "Something is alive in my belly." The words hung in the air. "Doctor." Hayes didn't react immediately. Years of training kept her face calm, but something tightened behind her eyes. She nodded slowly. "Okay, let's talk about that. When did it start?" "Today," Lily replied. "After lunch. I was coloring, and then it started swimming." "Swimming, doctor?" Hayes echoed. Lily nodded. "Like when I put my hand in the bathtub and the water moves around it. But inside me, doctor." Hayes placed 2 fingers gently on Lily's wrist, checking her pulse again. It was fast, too fast for a child who wasn't in pain. "Any nausea, vomiting, fever?" she asked the father. "No," he answered. "Nothing. She was fine this morning." "Doctor." Hayes stood and approached the bed. "I'm going to press on your tummy a little, okay? Tell me if it hurts." Lily nodded solemnly. The doctor pressed lightly, then deeper, moving methodically. Lily didn't flinch. No guarding, no obvious tenderness. Everything felt normal. Then Lily gasped softly. "There, it moved." "Doctor." Hayes felt nothing beneath her hand. Still, a strange chill crept up her spine. Children could imagine many things, but Lily's reactions were too controlled, too specific. "Let's do an ultrasound, Drive," Hayes said after a moment. "Just to be sure." The lights were dimmed. The machine hummed to life as it was rolled closer. Lily shivered when the cold gel touched her skin. "I don't like that," she whispered. "I know, Drive," Hayes said softly. "It'll be quick." The probe glided across Lily's abdomen, and the familiar grainy images appeared on the screen. "Doctor." Hayes relaxed slightly as she recognized the normal outlines of organs. Intestines, soft tissue, shadows she had seen thousands of times before. Then the image shifted. Something elongated appeared briefly, then slipped out of view. "Doctor." Hayes frowned and adjusted the angle. "Hold still for me, Lily." "I am," Lily said. "It's the thing that won't." The probe moved again. This time, there was no doubt. A distinct shape curled slowly, deliberately, beneath the surface. Not gas, not muscle contraction. It moved like a living creature, responding to pressure and light. "Doctor." Hayes felt her breath hitch. She stared at the screen, her mind racing through every medical explanation she knew. Parasite, tumor, rare congenital abnormality, none of them fit what she was seeing. The shape twitched again, more forcefully. Lily whimpered. "It's waking up, doctor." Hayes pulled the probe away as if burned. Her hands were shaking now. She wiped the gel from Lily's stomach, forcing her voice to remain steady. "You did great," she said. "I just need to step outside for a minute, okay?" "Is it bad?" Lily asked. "Doctor." Hayes hesitated, then smiled tightly. "We're going to take care of you." The moment she stepped into the hallway, the smile vanished. She walked briskly to the nurse's station, heart pounding. Her thoughts felt loud, chaotic. "I need another set of eyes," she said quickly. Now, what's wrong? A nurse asked. Doctor. Hayes didn't answer. She turned and dialed the phone mounted on the wall. Her fingers trembled as she pressed the numbers. When the call connected, she spoke quietly but urgently. This is Dr. Hayes at Memorial Hospital. I need emergency assistance immediately. Doctor, what seems to be the problem? The dispatcher asked. Doctor. Hayes glanced back toward Lily's room, where the small girl sat hugging her stuffed rabbit, unaware of the storm gathering around her. There is something inside a child, drive. Hayes said slowly. It is moving independently. I don't know what it is. And I don't think it's safe. There was a pause on the line. Are you reporting suspected abuse or poisoning? No, drive, Hayes replied, her voice tightening. I'm reporting something I cannot medically explain. Silence again. I need police and emergency specialists on site, she continued. Now, as she hung up, drive, Hayes felt a wave of dread wash over her. She had seen rare cases, horrifying injuries, impossible survivals, but never this. Inside the room, Lily pressed her hand against her stomach again. This time, her father felt it. A faint, unmistakable shift beneath her skin. His face drained of color. Lily, what was that? She looked up at him with tears in her eyes. I told you, Daddy, she whispered. It doesn't want to stay asleep anymore. And somewhere deep inside her, something moved again, slowly, patiently, waiting. The waiting area outside the emergency ward filled quickly, though no announcement explained why. 2 police officers arrived first, their radios crackling softly as they spoke in hushed tones with hospital security. Minutes later, an unmarked ambulance pulled up, followed by a gray government vehicle with no insignia. Lily's father noticed everything from behind the glass wall, his unease growing heavier with every passing second. Inside the room, Lily sat very still. Her stuffed rabbit lay beside her, forgotten. She stared at the ceiling, breathing shallowly. It's getting tight, she whispered. Her father leaned closer. What's getting tight, sweetheart? My tummy, she said. Like it's running out of room. Before he could answer, the door opened. Dr. Hayes returned, accompanied by a tall man in surgical scrubs and another doctor Lily didn't recognize. The calm expression drive Hayes had worn earlier was gone. In its place was something far more serious. Mr. Carter, she said gently, we need to do further testing. Immediately. Testing? He asked. What did you see on the ultrasound? Doctor. Hayes hesitated, choosing her words carefully. Something abnormal. We need to move quickly. Lily whimpered as a sudden sharp sensation rippled through her abdomen. She cried out, clutching her stomach. The heart monitor spiked, alarms sounding sharply through the room. It's moving again. Lily screamed. Make it stop. That was enough. Prep the OR, the surgeon ordered. Now. Within seconds, the room exploded into controlled chaos. Nurses moved swiftly, disconnecting monitors and attaching new ones. Lily was lifted onto a gurney, her father grabbing her hand as they wheeled her down the corridor. I'm right here, he kept saying, though his voice broke. I'm not going anywhere. Lily's eyes were wide with terror. Daddy, promise it won't eat me. The words froze him. I promise, he whispered, though he had no idea if it was true. The operating room was stark and blindingly bright. Lily was put under anesthesia as quickly as possible. The moment her eyes fluttered closed, her father was escorted out, his legs shaking so badly he had to sit down. Behind the closed doors, the surgical team worked in tense silence. The ultrasound image was displayed on a large screen, the strange shape now more active than before. It twisted slowly, reacting to every movement, every vibration. The surgeon made the first incision with steady hands. As the layers were carefully opened, a faint vibration pulsed through Lily's abdomen. There, one of the nurses whispered. Did you feel that? Everyone had. When the cavity was finally exposed, the room fell completely silent. Nestled among Lily's organs was a translucent sac, no larger than a grapefruit, its surface faintly glowing under the surgical lights. Vein-like structures clung to nearby tissue, pulsing softly as if drawing nourishment. Inside the sac, something moved. Slowly, deliberately. It's alive, the anesthesiologist murmured. The surgeon leaned closer, his face pale. That's not human tissue. The sac tightened suddenly, contracting as if aware it was being observed. The heart monitor spiked violently. Her vitals are destabilizing, the anesthesiologist warned. We need it out, drive, Hayes said, her voice tight. Now. The surgeon worked carefully, severing the thin connections one by one. With each cut, the sac reacted, twitching more violently. A low, almost imperceptible vibration filled the room, raising the hairs on everyone's arms. Finally, the sac came free. The instant it left Lily's body, her heart rate dropped back to normal. The monitors calmed. The room seemed to exhale. Inside the surgeon's hands, the sac convulsed once, twice, then went still. They sealed it inside a sterile containment unit just as the doors burst open. Armed officers entered, followed by a woman in a dark suit who immediately took control of the room. "Is it contained?" she asked. "Yes," the surgeon replied quietly. "Good. This never leaves this facility unguarded." Lily's surgery was completed quickly after that. Her body, freed from the unknown presence, responded immediately. She was stable, safe. Hours later, she woke in recovery. The first thing she noticed was the silence inside her body. No shifting, no pressure, no movement. She smiled faintly. "It's gone," she whispered. Her father broke down, gripping her hand and pressing his forehead to the mattress. "You're okay," he sobbed. "You're really okay." Doctors assured him she would recover fully. No complications, no lasting damage. The official diagnosis, they explained, was a rare parasitic anomaly. Extremely unusual, almost unheard of. He nodded numbly, knowing it was a lie, but too grateful to argue. That night, long after Lily fell asleep, Hayes stood alone in a restricted laboratory deep within the hospital. The containment unit sat on a metal table, surrounded by armed guards. Inside, the sac floated motionless. "Has it reacted at all?" she asked quietly. The woman in the dark suit shook her head. "Not since removal, Doctor." Hayes stared at it, her stomach twisting. It was responding inside her. "Adapting." "Yes," the woman replied. "Which is why this case is classified." "Doctor." Hayes swallowed. "What was it?" The woman's eyes hardened. "Something that shouldn't have survived. Something that chose a child because she was small, and unnoticed." A technician cleared his throat. "Ma'am, there's a reading." The sac pulsed faintly. Once. Then again. "It's not dead, Hayes whispered. "No," the woman agreed. "It's waiting." The next morning, Lily was discharged. She skipped down the hallway, clutching her stuffed rabbit, laughing as if nothing had ever been wrong. To anyone watching, she was just a healthy little girl going home. But as they reached the exit, Lily stopped suddenly. She looked back down the corridor, her smile fading. "It's still alive," she said softly. Her father crouched beside her. "What is, sweetheart?" She frowned, pressing a hand to her stomach, not in pain, but in memory. "The thing, it's not inside me anymore." She tilted her head, listening to something no one else could hear. "It's just waiting for somewhere else to grow."